Freedom Marchers was good. Snaps it like a gorilla here. This is Freedom March channel, and it is Monday, October 31st, 2022, or what they call Halloween. Today is the day they call Halloween, man. And if you're going out trick-or-treating with your kids, make sure that all the candy is sealed. There ain't no little holes. And, you know, shit, I would even say, I'll go as far as to say, don't let them eat no damn candy. Just let them enjoy the fun of going out and, you know, trick-or-treating, just doing that. And then make them some homemade dessert or something that they can have, you know. Throw all that damn candy away. That's what I'm gonna do with my kids. You know, it's all about the fun of dressing up as your favorite hero, your favorite horror character, whatever. And, you know, going door to door, you know, trick or treat, all this bullshit, that's fine. But as far as the candy goes, man, listen, your kids don't need candy anyway. My kids don't need candy. They eat candy every now and then. But I really encourage them, if they want something sweet, you know, eat some fruit, you know, eat some fruit, you know, make a little low-calorie dessert, whatever the case may be. But all that sugar, it's not good. It's not good for kids, man. It's not good for anybody. You know what I'm saying? So just, you know, take it easy with the kids and the sugar and shit, all right? And speaking of children and sweets and shit, I want to talk about this body positivity movement. Something that I haven't really touched on during my YouTube career. Well, it's not really a career. I don't get paid. But I've never really touched on the body positivity movement with all the Lizzo shit going on and all that. Look, the bottom line, whenever they do these things, whenever they push like fat is healthy and all this other shit, that type of shit, they're really going after your children, man. They're going after your children, and they're going after impressionable ass adults who believe everything they see from the media, believe everything they see on TV. And the bottom line to it is, there's no such thing as body positivity when you're fucking obese. Okay? When you're obese, there's no such thing as there's nothing positive about that, right? I mean, you can still be attractive, you still have a cute face and all that. And hell, I know there's obese people that can dance and all that other shit, have a good level of energy. But here's the bottom line to it. The level of adipose tissue on a obese person is completely unhealthy, right? There are a number of problems with that, right? If you are that overweight to a point where you're like obese, morbidly obese, and all that type of shit, you have to understand that your heart is working much harder than it needs to. It really is. You know, you don't, and that's not something you want. You want your heart to have as little stress on it as possible, unless you're exercising. That's when you want that stress. That's when you want that. It actually helps build your heart, makes your heart stronger. But just to be walking around 300, 400 pounds, 200, 300 pounds, and just be putting all that pressure on your heart 24/7 is not good. Even when you're sleeping, man. There are a lot of obese people, overweight people, that suffer from sleep apnea. Sleep apnea takes years off your life. Years. And that comes with obesity, right? But they're not telling you that in the mainstream media. They're not telling you that when these entertainers come out, big as hell, sloppy, flopping around, You know what I'm saying? They try to make it look cute. They busting up out of their thongs and all this other shit. Look at Lizzo. I mean, Lizzo's not attractive, right? Most men do not find women like that attractive. There's some men out there that do, but it's not attractive. Do you know why? It's not just because, it's not just the physical look of it, right? There's a lot that's involved with it. A lot of it has to do with natural instincts, nature, right? This fucking thing. When men choose mates, they want, and it's instinctual, right? They choose men and women, or they choose women who they feel can that can carry children and bear children in a healthy way, right? In a healthy way, to where there will be very little complications. You know, like when a woman who's in good shape, healthy looking, they know that their children are likely going to be healthy coming from that mother and that woman, and the woman is going to have a least complicated pregnancy, right? But when you're obese as a woman and you're pregnant, you are what is considered a high-risk pregnancy, right? A high-risk pregnancy. And many times, obese women have to get C-sections because they can't safely, necessarily, give birth to children naturally, right? Because of all the complications involved. The high blood pressure, you know what I'm saying? There's a number of reasons. They can hemorrhage more easily. These are things that men instinctually, throughout years, through evolution, have come to understand. And it's not just men, animals too. Even women. When women choose mates, instinctually, they want fit men that are good looking, that are healthy, you know what I'm saying, that are strong, that are, you know what I'm saying, that look like they can handle themselves, that are dangerous. Women love dangerous men. You know what I'm saying? And if you're an obese man and you can't even walk up a flight of stairs, or you can't jog a quarter mile without having to stop, then there's no way you can be dangerous. There's no way that you can be an efficient protector and provider, right? There's no way. And that's something that is written into our DNA. That's part of our toolbox genes. Toolbox genes are genes that are passed down to every single motherfucking generation, right? It is the foundation of what that human will become. And this whole body positivity movement, that's just a way to make us less dangerous, right? They want our children to grow up to be submissive, non-dangerous individuals, particularly men. You combine that with the transformer movement, right? Combine that with the transformer movement, then you have a recipe for an enslaved population. I mean, just look at the 80s. In the 80s, right? In the 80s, look at pictures in the 80s. Look at videos in the 80s. 9 out of 10 people were essentially not obese. There were very few obese people. I'm talking about obese. I'm not talking about like chubby, little, you know what I'm saying, skinny fat and all that type of shit. You might have had skinny fat people, you know what I'm saying, but people were moving more. They were exercising more, you know what I'm saying. They were outdoors more because of technology. Wasn't so advanced back then, and so they had to find a way to entertain themselves. Now, does that mean everybody was a gym rat? No. But people were essentially more healthy back then. And we're talking about these motherfuckers were smoking cigarettes 24/7, inside, outside, passing on secondhand smoke to people. And there are less healthy people today. Less smokers, less secondhand smoke affecting people. But we're less healthy today. We're more sick. We're sicker. But back then, while they were smoking a lot more, they weren't eating all this crap. They weren't in. There was no obese, fat, body positivity movement. People were skateboarding. They were bike riding, all this type of shit. This is what you had back in the 80s. I remember. I grew up in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? I spent the whole 10 years in the 80s. 10 years of my, I was in the 80s. I was there in the 80s for the entire decade. You know what I'm saying? I saw it as a child. You know? And then you had the 90s. The 90s, you had a little bit more toward the unhealthy population. There was a little bit more involved. There's a little bit more pushing of processed food and candy, and there was this whole low-fat, non-fat movement. But in order to make the food more flavorful, they had to add sugar to it. You started to get that more. But even in the 90s, people were a lot more healthy. Kids were more active. They were outdoors more. They were reading more. They were more intelligent. You understand what I'm saying? Children are more intelligent today in different ways. Right? Children back then had a little bit more sense, a little bit more, they were a little bit more conservative. The families were a little bit more conservative. And it didn't matter if you were living in the blue state or the red state. Right? Back then, people were a little bit more cautious about how they spent their days and all this type of shit. What type of person they choose to have sex with. All this type of shit. Now you got the whole, the hot girl summer movement. Combined are creating problems, right? It's our children in a negative way. Body positivity, hoeing around like it's the thing to do. Transformerism, you know what I'm saying? All these things work together to create problems for our children. Now children are just either they're obese, they're transforming, or they have out there hoeing around, or all three. You know what I'm saying? Even obese, not so good looking women can get dick these days without a problem. You understand what I'm saying? Because what else have they created? What else have they created? All this shit by design. The incel movement, right? The incel movement. And how did that happen? Well, you had the whole Tinderism and the Tinder and the Grindr and all this other shit. All these little apps where women have so many choices these days. And, you know, they're single mothers back in the day, back in the 2000s and all this type of shit, told them you don't need no man, get as much dick as you can before you settle down and all this type of shit. Do what men do. See what I'm saying? And all this shit, again, was pushed through media and entertainment. They have created a culture of destruction. They have created a culture of destruction where our children are just out there doing everything all willy-nilly, eating what they want, fucking who they want. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I feel like being a woman today. I'm gonna cut off my, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get chemically castrated. And then you have the children lovers, right? That's being more accepted. They're trying to make child molestation an okay thing. Like, oh, that's just natural. You know, they can't help it as long as they don't act on those desires and all this other type of shit. Now they were trying to say, oh, it's a minor attracted person. All these things are by design, yo. And all these things are by design. And men can't be men anymore. So you have that movement on top of that. The male feminist movement. But of course that started with the feminist movement was the original problem. And then white feminists dragging black women into their bullshit. Black women wasn't having no issues with black men. But somehow white women convince black women, oh, well, they're holding you down and they keeping you from doing what you want to do. But the anti-masculine movement, the toxic masculinity, hurling that accusation around because you want to be man. You want to teach I want to raise my child, my son, to be a man, but to be not to be so emotional in our feelings and not to act on emotions, right? To display strength, and mental fortitude, and intestinal fortitude, so he can grow to be a warrior. But because I want to do that, I'm a toxic male. Well, I'll be that toxic male. All these things are by design. They want men to be like Bill Gates. Bill Gates is the new archetype for what a man is supposed to be. Look, have you seen Bill Gates? Just a sloppy ass, just slovenly, just disgusting looking man. His face is all dragged down to the floor, titties and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what they want your men to be like. That's what they want our sons to be like. They don't want men to be like me anymore. And I'm not the toughest guy in the world. They don't want real men out here real manning. They want our women to become men, and they want the men to become they want men to be submissive to women. And whenever you listen, like you got people, you're a misogynist. You got people like Andrew Tate and Kevin Samuels, right? You got Andrew Tate, Kevin Samuels out here trying to encourage males to become men and look like you have to grow some balls, stand on your nuts, and be a man. Be on your purpose, all this other shit. But at the same time, it seems like he's attacking women. You know what I'm saying? And then they accuse him of beating on women, and it muddies the waters. And they cancel him. They remove him from the ethers. They get his ass out of there. And Kevin Samuels, he passed away. And then you have men out here that are like, I don't want to say, listen, you can be a dominant man. You can be a masculine male, a dominant man, and still have a level of respect for women that is admirable. You can cherish women. This is the thing. You can cherish women, treat them like the queens they are, if they are queens. Not all women are queens. Don't get it twisted. You can treat them like queens, be respectful, and cherish them, and still be the dominant male they need. I don't care how independent a woman is or anything like that. I don't care how masculine they act. At the end of the day, they need that masculine dominant male to balance their ass out. That's what they need. But we're living in a society today where the masculine male is being castrated, right? We're being castrated through social media. We're being castrated chemically. We're being castrated physically because they are pushing it into our children's brains that, look, you can be whatever gender you want. If you think you're a woman today, then you might as well go full-fledged with it because you're automatically a woman now, right? They put people out there like Kevin Durant and Gabrielle Union and all these motherfuckers. Charlize Theron, Madonna, right? They got these black boys out here dressed as girls, you know what I'm saying, putting on makeup and all this type of shit, because they might have said when they were 1.5 years old, I'm a girl. Or they picked up a Barbie doll instead of a truck. You know what I'm saying? Whatever excuse they can come up with to destroy their sons. Because that's what you did when you decided to transition your child from a boy to a girl. You have destroyed their masculine. And there's no way that man or that male can be balanced now that you have transitioned that male. Because even though you transition them, they're still a male. They're still a male. They may not be a man. They're still a male. You have completely destroyed their psyche. There is psychological damage that goes along with transitioning your children. Even if you transition a girl to a boy, you have destroyed their psychological makeup because they displayed some feminine qualities when they were 2 or 3 years old. You know, if my son, my older son, right? If there would be times when he was 2 or 3 years old, he might want to play because he has 4 sisters or 3 sisters. He had 2 sisters, and then he had his little sisters. So he had 2 older sisters, and he wants to play with a kid, right? So he might play dolls with them, with his sisters. And I would say, look, son, I will get him some Ninja Turtles. I'll get him some action figures. And I say, look, you can play with your sisters, but I encourage you to, instead of being the girl doll, you get a man action figure, and you can play with them like that. Like you're their husband, and you're taking them, you know what I'm saying? You protecting them, you know what I'm saying? All that type of shit. You going to work doing man shit. So I would encourage my son to do man shit with his sisters when he played with them. No, you're not playing with their dolls. This is what I would tell him. I would say, nope, you're not playing with the doll. You're not playing with the girly doll. You're gonna get an action figure, and then that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna play like that. Like you're gonna get one action figure, male action figure, and you're gonna act like they're gonna attack the Barbie dolls, not the Barbie dolls, but the girl dolls, and then you're gonna have the other male action figure beat his ass to protect him. That's what you're gonna do. And it's a form of you guiding your child to be what he's supposed to be. I don't care what nobody tell you. A boy is supposed to grow to be a fucking man. Period. If you're not raising your son to be a man, if you're not raising your daughter to be a woman, you are failing your children. And if your daughter displays masculine behavior, then you have to guide them toward the feminine. If your son is displaying feminine behavior, you have to guide them toward the masculine. Period. And that your son might grow to be a more gentler type of man, right? But he will still have very masculine qualities that he will display when the need arises. Like you might think he's gentle, you might think he's cool and sweet, you know what I'm saying, and not aggressive. But if you test him, he is going to destroy you. That's, you know what I'm saying? You can have a gentle son that is not so, not so aggressive, but that aggression can come out when the need arises. You know what I'm saying? So that's your duty as a father. That's your duty as a mother. You're supposed to ensure that your children grow to be strong women and strong men, depending on if they're male or female. And that's all I got for now. Like, share, subscribe, and we're going to keep marching forward toward freedom. Peace.